Hi guys, can you hear me? Someone can just give me a quick indication. Great stuff. It looks like everybody can hear me. We're ready to go. All right, so I was just shifting the cover there to get the right picture in place. I'm very excited to do this webinar today. I hope you guys are ready for action. I just want to apologize from the start. I'm recovering from a bit of a cold flu bug, so if I'm coughing in between, I'll just take a sip of water and carry on. All right, good stuff. So I hope that you guys are ready. It's been a while since I've done my last webinar for the ICBA, and in between, I've done many exciting things with my brand, Entrepreneurship Schools. I'm quite excited about the future and where we are going as a brand. All right, so let's get right into this presentation. So those who don't know me, who hasn't seen my previous webinars, my name is Brent Badenhorst. I've been involved with startup business since 2013. And just a quick background is that at the age of 19, I decided to go confidently in the direction of my dreams. At that stage, I wanted to become a professional cricket player, and I stopped studying. So I was impulsive from a very young age, impulsive, and I already showed the entrepreneurial traits necessary to make a success of entrepreneurship one day. And then the journey led me to relocate to Cape Town, where I went through many battles in the process, losing everything that I had. And at age 24, decided I'm going to go into business, educated myself with business books, studying the concept of entrepreneurship, testing out one or two ideas which failed miserably. And then I started in 2013 at PTY Company Registration, now known as Company Partners, where I started consulting startup businesses and increasing my knowledge in that area. In 2016, I broke away from Company Partners. I started to build a network for them of accountants, and also I started writing business plans at that stage. So since then, we've done many business plans. We've written over 300 business plans. I've done entrepreneurship workshops, which started last year, January already. So we have had up to 30 entrepreneurs come through our workshops. And we have a few success stories where guys literally just visited or just attended the entrepreneurship program, followed the steps that we do, and afterwards they were able to start a business. So that is fantastic news. I know one client specifically last year came on our course, and she wanted to start a dance company. And after the 12-week course, she launched a dance company. That was last year, November, we finished. And up to date, she's quit her own job, and she's now full-time in a dance school. Every session has been booked out. Her branding is up. She's got a facility that she's renting. So that's a fantastic facility of what we are currently busy with at the entrepreneurship school with our business plans. And also, we're in the process of accrediting our course at CETA, which is exciting new step. So then we will become a full CETA service provider by the end of this year, with CETA accredited courses specifically focused in the new venture creation. Cool. So that's a bit of background about me. If you have any questions, there's a team. There's been a few changes in the team. So Ntandu is still there, but we've got a new person on board now, Nakane, who's doing our business plan. So the team is steadily growing at Entrepreneurship School. That's exciting news. And we're ready to take things forward. I just want to put that away. Sorry. All right. So our mission at Entrepreneurship School is to educate, mentor, and create a platform for entrepreneurs to start, build, and grow their organization. And the vision through which we want to do that is through education, mentoring, and helping people to really make their businesses a success. So there's a lot of guys who wants to start a business, but it's one thing to start a business, it's another thing to make it a success. So we want to be part of the process from the start. I just want to see, I see there's a few complaints about the sound. Can everybody hear me? I just want to double check. Sound okay? So the sound is good. If the sound is not good on your side, make sure that your sound is turned up all the way, and just check that there's no security device that's blocking your microphone or your speakers from the webinar. That was the case when I launched now. All right, so that is what we're all about at Entrepreneurship School. Okay, cool. So I'm going to start off today's webinar is focused on how do I start a business. So I want to break up the concept of how do you start a business, and I want to start with, first of all, the natural business sequence in the world. What is the natural sequence that makes certain people successful? And then afterwards, we're going to take a look at what makes the general people entrepreneurs. So I'm of the belief as the same as Nike. So Nike believes that if you have a body, you're an athlete. I believe if you have a brain, you have the ability to be an entrepreneur. So I'm not saying through that everybody should become an entrepreneur, everybody should go into business. That all comes down to what is your perspective of entrepreneurship. So that is my biggest focus. And I believe everybody with a normal brain and a normal IQ has the potential and the ability to become an entrepreneur according to their own measure. All right, and then we're going to finish off with practical steps of what do I need to get in place when I start a business, what is most important. All right, so it's going to be an exciting webinar this. I hope you guys are ready. So let's go. So Steve Jobs, one of my favorite entrepreneurs of all time. I just watched a documentary of him a few days ago. This guy was absolutely brilliant. Just to give you guys a quick scope of what Steve Jobs did. In the late 70s, early 80s, Steve Jobs had a vision to create a new industry. And the industry he wanted to create is the personalized computer. At that stage, computers was mainly used for businesses, organizations, government departments, and wasn't really accessible for the public. So Steve Jobs believed everybody's life will become better if they have a personalized computer. So that was his vision originally when he started Apple. So first of all, he created a new industry out of nothing, the industry of the personalized computer. And after he was then fired at Apple, he came back to Apple a few years later. He also went to Pixar, where he was a CEO there, and there he revolutionized with the people he worked with. Literally, he created the animation industry that we see today. So he played a big part in that as well. But when he came back to Apple, he went further along and he invented the iPod, which totally destroyed the competition in the sense of music playing devices. So Steve Jobs took on the music industry with the device music industry, and he dominated that industry. Afterwards, he launched the iStore, and literally by launching one product, by thinking out of the box, Steve Jobs was able to save the music industry with the iStore and the iTunes app that he launched on the Apple devices. After that, Steve Jobs revolutionized the smartphone industry. So currently at that stage, there were cell phones with color screens, etc. And Steve Jobs goes and he creates an iPhone, which is totally unique, and he literally revolutionized the cell phone industry. And after he was finished with that, he went and he created another new industry, which was the iPads. All right, so this guy was an insane entrepreneur, the Thomas Edison of his day, and he said that on that very famous ad that they did once he was back at Apple in the late 90s, he wrote the following script for the entrepreneurs and people who change stuff throughout the history of life. And he said, "Yes, to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square holes, the ones who see things differently. They're not fond of the rules, and they have no respect for the status quo. You can quote them, disagree with them, disbelieve them, or glorify or vilify them. About the only thing you can't do is ignore them, because they change things. They push the human race forward. And while some may see them as the crazy ones, we see genius, because the ones who are crazy enough to think that they can change the world are the ones who do." So I hope that you guys are believing inside yourself that you are able to change the world. Because if you're crazy enough to think that you can change the world for the better, and make a positive impact, then it's actually possible for you. All right, so I want to challenge you guys also when it comes to, there's a lot of accountants who's on this webinar, because this is obviously for the ICBA. And my challenge to you guys is, how can you revolutionize the accounting industry to move the whole industry to another level? Okay, so ask that question for yourself. Not an easy question, but if you get the answer to that, then you will have entrepreneurial myth birth inside of you, an entrepreneurial dream. All right, so this is the schedule we're going to take a look at today. And I'm starting off with the natural sequence of a business. The natural sequence of a business. So if you take a look at businesses way back from before our time, as well as up to businesses today, businesses that were successful and businesses that failed, there's a sequence to business on earth, and it's a very natural sequence. It's very normal, and if you think about it, it actually makes sense. And the sequence is, first of all, to produce. You have to be fruitful. You have to produce something of value. Secondly, you have to reproduce. Thirdly, you have to distribute. And fourthly, subdue, which means to bring under control. Subdue means to bring under control. So I'm going to explain this process in detail. First of all, you have to be fruitful. You have to produce a service or a product of value. And the way that you produce a service or a product of value is you have to obviously take a look around, take a look at the people around you, take a look at the community around you, and ask yourself, what is it that the people need in my community? What is it that the people need in the city? What is it that the people need in the industry that I'm operating in? So be observant first of all and see what people need. And then after you spot something that people need that nobody is supplying, you can actually go and produce a solution for that need, which will be a possible business that you can start. So that's firstly where you start when you want to start a business. You have to take a look around, you have to be observant, and you have to ask yourself, what is it that people need around me? What is it that people need around me? And then produce the solution. So that's step one. But to produce a solution once is not good enough. You have to be able to produce the same solution over and over and over. In other words, you need to learn how to multiply the solution with the same result, with the same quality, which takes you the same amount of time. All right, I'm going to say that again. Same quality, same amount of time, and the same standard you need to keep when you multiply. All right, so first of all, produce a product or a service which brings a solution to what the people in your community, in your industry, in your city needs. Secondly, learn how to multiply that solution. So reproduce it over and over. And to reproduce something over and over, you need a solid system in place that will help you to get the same result over and over and over. Okay, I see some queries coming in regarding the slides. Yes, I can send you the slides. I'm going to give my email address to you after the session, and then you guys can just pop me an email and I'll send you the slides afterwards. All right, so step one, produce a product or a service of value. Step two, learn how to reproduce that product or that service. Multiply over and over. Then step three, distribution. So after you reproduce the product or the solution or the service, you need to now distribute this solution. Either if it's in a franchise format, you need to distribute your business, or either if it's a product, you need to distribute through logistics, or either if it's just a normal service. How are you going to distribute your solution to the whole industry or to the whole community or to the whole city? Okay, that's the next solution to how do I start a business. And then if you can produce a solid product or service of value regarding what people need in your community, then You need to learn how to multiply. If you can do that, if you can reproduce and then obviously distribute, then subdue means to bring under control. So you'll bring the industry under control if you can follow these principles. And I've got a few case studies here just to make this more practical that you guys can explain it if you should work with your clients who want to start a business. Excuse me. So my first example is Bill Gates, one of the very successful guys in Silicon Valley, and he was part of the tech bubble which exploded in the late 70s, early 80s. So Bill Gates produces one good product of value. He was observant. He obviously understood what he was skillful in. He understood what he was passionate about. And in this tech industry, he was observant and he saw what people needed. And then he goes and he produces one good product of value. Notice that he doesn't produce 5 or 10 or 20 different things that can be valuable to people. He focuses his attention on one good product of value. After he produced Microsoft, which was the product of value, you then went and he reproduces Microsoft. So he created one Microsoft program, but now he needed to create a system that can create the same Microsoft program over and over and over. So he creates that system. After he can reproduce Microsoft, he then goes and he finds a way to sorry, he finds a way to distribute his product to every computer on earth. So that was his distribution channel. It was every computer on earth except the Apple. He went and he distributed his product on every single computer. So he made sure that Microsoft was compatible with every PC at that time coming out. So when you buy a PC, you needed Microsoft in order to operate your computer. That was his distribution channel. And then obviously he subdued the market. In other words, he brought the industry under control. He now dominated the industry totally, to a degree that the US government called in Steve Jobs, not Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, and they said, this is impossible, this is not right, you cannot dominate every computer on earth. And he's like, well, I'm offering value and there's nothing you can do about it. So that was the success. That was the success factor of Bill Gates. It's absolutely amazing. Okay, so the second business I want to use as an example is the most successful small business on earth, which is McDonald's. Okay, this is the most successful small business on earth. And McDonald's produced one good product of value, which was a hamburger. In this case, I'm going to keep it easy. It was one hamburger. McDonald's didn't have, when they started out, a hamburger, a cheeseburger, a mushroom burger, chicken McNuggets, chicken wraps, all these fancy stuff that we have now when we go to McDonald's. But they started out with one product. They had one thing that people needed. It was a very good hamburger with French fries and with a Coke. That was it. There was no large or small or medium sizes. There was one size. You would stand in the queue in those early days, early or late 50s, early 60s. The guys stood in the queue and they said, one special please, meaning a burger, a chips, and a Coke. And I think it's very important when you start a business to keep it simple. You have to keep it simple. Go and get 1 or 2 or 3 products max that's very simplistic, that people need, and then you start your business like that, rather than overcomplicating matters and having way too many services or products that is difficult to control. Okay, so first of all, they produced one good product of value, which was a burger. And secondly, they reproduced the same burger over and over and over. And thirdly, they distributed the hamburger through their McDonald's restaurant. Okay, so this was the original McDonald's. This is how it operated. They produced the same quality order over and over and over without fail. And then they had a successful restaurant that was operating successfully, and they were dominating that territory in California where that restaurant was planted. So in comes Ray Kroc, which is the original visionary for the McDonald's Corporation. He sees this amazing restaurant and how these guys are just popping out order after order after order within 2 minutes, and he immediately sees a franchise. So where the McDonald's brothers saw one restaurant as their distribution channel, Ray Kroc saw a franchise model as his distribution channel. So his vision for the business was much bigger. So another thing that you need to keep in mind is what do you see when you look at your business? What do you see when you speak to your client, or your client speaks to you? What does he see for his business? Are you guys seeing a small business, or do you see something bigger? Do you see the potential in the business? Especially if you look at your own accounting firm at this stage, or your own firm or your business where you're currently operating from. What do you see for yourself? Do you see one business that pops out good burgers, or do you see a possible franchise that can pop out 69 million burgers on the same day? Because that's currently what McDonald's is doing. They are getting 69 million burgers out every single day. That is amazing. It's mind blowing. And that's through a system that multiplies the same result over and over and over. So in any case, Ray Kroc saw the opportunity, but he saw something different. So he saw McDonald's as the product. He saw the McDonald's restaurant in front of him as the product that he's going to sell to a franchisee. So for him, the customer is the franchisee. For the McDonald's brothers who's got the current restaurant, the customer is the guy buying a burger. So there's a big difference in the paycheck between the guy that pays for the burger and the guy that pays for the McDonald's. Big difference. And that was the difference in what the two dimensions saw. Ray Kroc saw the franchisee is going to pay him $2 million per franchise, and the McDonald's brothers saw the $2 they get for every burger. Okay, so my question again to you, what do you see? What do you see? Is it time for you to think a bit bigger than you're currently thinking? All right, so Ray Kroc goes and he takes this product and he multiplies the product 36,000 times. For Ray Kroc, the product is McDonald's, the whole McDonald's. Everything about McDonald's is the product. He then goes and he distributes his product over 36,000 times. That's how many franchises, McDonald's franchises there are in the world. All right, so that's how he distributed his product. And obviously, McDonald's is the number one in the fast food industry. If you like them or not, they are number one, and they are dominating the industry because they're producing, they're reproducing, they're distributing, and they brought the industry under control by following these principles. So that for me is the essence of a business. It's to produce a service or a product of value. It's to reproduce that same service or that product, then create a system on how that product will keep the same standard every single time that you reproduce it. Then you need to learn how to distribute it throughout the market or the industry or the world. And lastly, if you follow those principles, it's possible for you to bring your market under control. Okay, I hope you guys are encouraged with that. Good news. Okay, so here's my earlier statement. If you have a brain and a normal IQ score, you have the ability to be an entrepreneur. Note my word in their ability. Okay, not everybody's going to go into business. Not everybody's going to be a planet shaker. And I'm not saying everybody should be. I'm saying that if you understand the concept of entrepreneurship, then you have no excuse not to be entrepreneurial in your world. Either if you're an employee, either if you're an accountant, either if you are a business owner, if you have no job, doesn't matter. You have the ability to be an entrepreneur. It's about what are you thinking about. It's about your mindset. Where are your thoughts at? What do you believe of yourself? Those things are very important. All right, so the definition of an entrepreneur is a dreamer, a visionary, It is someone that spots a problem or a need and believes that there are solutions to the problem or the need. So he's an observant guy. He looks around him. What does the people around me need? What does the businesses in a specific industry need? What is basics that people are missing? He's very observant. And then he is also a servant. So he wants to help other people. So he's looking around not just to become rich or famous, but he's looking around because he wants to help other people. He wants to serve them. So he's a servant, and then he wants to empower people. Okay, so an entrepreneur is someone that wants to move the human race forward. It's someone that wants to push humanity forward with a dream. All right, that's the essence of entrepreneurship. It's not someone that goes into business to get rid of the boss. It's not someone that goes into business for himself, but he is someone that creates an organization that works. Okay, an entrepreneur is someone that creates an organization that works. And there's a very interesting myth about entrepreneurship, and I think it's very applicable. It's something that I learned from Michael E. Gerber, who wrote the book The E Myth Revisited. And I'm going to give you guys an example. So the plumber works in a plumbing business, and every single day he looks at the boss, and eventually he gets an entrepreneurial seizure. So he tells himself that, you know what, this boss would not have a business if it wasn't for me. A legit thought. I'm doing all the work. I'm very good at what I do. I know I'm one of the best plumbers out there. I'm going to start my own plumbing business. And then I'm going to get rid of the boss because I don't like the boss. That's normally how people start a business. And in this case, it's the same thing. So the guy then goes and he starts a business, never really understanding what a business is. He doesn't understand how to do marketing. He doesn't understand how to do sales. He only understands the technical work of a business. He only understands technically how to do the plumbing work for the plumbing industry. So he starts his business and he gets no clients, obviously, because he doesn't know how to do marketing or sales. And no matter how good technically he is with his work, because he doesn't know how to do marketing and sales, he's never going to have any clients. It makes sense. And yet people miss this. Entrepreneurship is much more. Starting a business is much more than just being good in whatever it is you do. It's much more than a technical skill. You have to know how to do marketing. You have to know how to build a brand. You have to know how to convince somebody to pay you money for the service that you're going to offer him. You need to be able to convince him that your service is better than the other people's service. So you need to be able to do sales. And then after doing sales, you need to deliver on the promise in the time frame that you said you were going to finalize his product or his service. So that's the full scope. Every single business consists of lead generation, lead conversion, client fulfillment. Lead generation is marketing, lead conversion is sales, client fulfillment is actually delivering on the client's service, making sure that everything was done successfully. All right, so that is entrepreneurship, and I want to touch on the entrepreneur personality as well. Remember, I said if you have a brain and the normal IQ, then you have the ability to be an entrepreneur. Because basically the entrepreneur personality consists of the dreamer, the thinker, the storyteller, and the leader. The dreamer has a dream, the thinker has a vision, the storyteller has a purpose, and the leader has a mission. And in this section, I want to encourage you guys to go do some soul searching. Go do some soul searching inside yourself. What is your dream for business? Why are you in business? Why are you doing what you're doing? Is it just to make money? Is it just to pay the bills at the end of the month? It's a dream. It's starting with a dream. Entrepreneurship starts with a dream. So what is your dream for whatever it is you are doing? What is the bigger idea behind what you are doing? Why are you doing what you're doing? Entrepreneurship starts with a dream. Once you have the dream, the thinker then goes and he thinks out a vision to how I can manifest this dream on earth. And then he establishes this vision, which is a very practical thing, which will make the dream become a reality. Once the vision is being established and the vision is in place, the entrepreneur then becomes passionate and he tells his story to everybody. All right, so he tells his story to everybody. He's excited and people ask him what he's doing, and then he says, you know what I'm doing? I'm doing this, and people are amazed. They're like, wow, this is amazing. I buy into this guy's story. And lastly, he's a leader. He knows how to carry out the dream, how to carry out the vision, and how to tell his story. All right, so I'm going to give you guys an example here. Steve Jobs was a dreamer. Steve Jobs was a thinker. Steve Jobs was a storyteller, and he was also a leader. So as a dreamer, in 1982, when Steve Jobs was busy with the personalized computer industry, he took his team on a retreat, 1982, and in the middle of the retreat, he took a prototype of an iPad and he held it to the audience and he said, "Hi guys, this is my dream, to build a computer the size of a notebook." So in 1982, Steve Jobs already had a dream to build an iPad. Already. He already saw the iPad. He already had a prototype for the iPad, which was only realized in 2012. That is absolutely amazing. This guy was thinking so far ahead that he wasn't even interested in laptops. He already saw the iPad. Okay, then Steve Jobs was a thinker as well. He was able to create a vision practically that will bring the dream to life. Okay, so obviously he worked with a team that brought this dream that he had to life, which was the iPad. Another way that you can see it is that when he was the CEO at Pixar, he created new building space for the company, and he designed the building so specifically that certain departments of people that would go to the toilet would bump into each other, and he believed that that could increase creativity because the guys could chat about the project that they're currently on and share ideas. So that's how far Steve Jobs was thinking about his business. He was a storyteller. So this guy told the story of his brand Apple. He told the story and people bought into this brand. And when they released the iPhone, the first ever iPhone, the people camped in front of the New York iStore already 1 week in advance. They already camped in front of the iStore, ready to go buy their iPhone. Okay, who in their right mind would pitch a tent outside in the street where it's cold, where it's unsafe, where you're going to get dirty days before to buy an iPhone, other than a client that is so passionate about someone else's brand that bought into the dream of that person? Okay, if you have clients like that, you'll never run out of business. Never, I promise you. And lastly, he was a leader. I'm not always agreeing with his leadership principles, but the guy got the result at the end of the day. All right, so that's my example of an entrepreneur. And I believe everybody can dream a dream. I believe everybody can think practically and create a vision. I believe everybody can tell a story of their dream. And I believe everybody inside, if they discover it, their strengths, are capable to become a leader. Okay, that's what I believe. So if you're listening now and you don't feel adequate as an entrepreneur, I'm challenging you to go dream a dream. I'm challenging you to go think about your business. I'm challenging you to go tell the story of your dream. And I'm challenging you to bring out that leader inside of you. All right, cool. Are you guys still excited? Are you guys being motivated by this session? I hope so. Right, now the leadership process. So this is normally how it goes. And how I prefer it should go before that someone starts a business. First of all, an individual discovers his impersonal dream. So it's someone that is curious. He doesn't settle. I'm busy now with the book of Phil Knight. Guys, make a note, Full Night Shoe Dog, the story of how Nike was created and how this guy discovered his dream. It's a very good read. The guy writes a book, it's like poetry. You don't want to put down the book, and you realize how difficult a battle he fought to establish this amazing brand Nike. Okay, so go buy that book, Full Night Shoe Dog. All right, so this entrepreneur doesn't want to just be normal in life. I mean, who wants to be normal in life? I doubt anybody listening to me now wants to be normal. I definitely don't want to be normal. If someone says I'm weird, I'm very complimented. Thank you for the compliment. I appreciate it. I want to be weird. I don't want to be normal. How boring. All right, so an individual discovers his dream, his idea of why he wants to start a business. What is this idea, this dream going to do for other people? How is it going to improve other people's lives? How is it going to change humanity? All right, it's possible for every single person, not just selected individuals. As a result of this discovery, this person then develops a conviction about what he's doing and what he should be doing with his life, as well as how he should be living his life, because he has a dream, but he's not doing what he is actually dreaming about. Okay, so once he then makes a change, so that conviction prompts that leader to make a change, and he then says, okay, I'm going to pursue my dream. I'm going to go in the direction of my dream. I don't care if I'm going to fail or not. I can't absolutely deny myself. I need to go in this direction. So once he goes in the direction, he conceptualizes a clear vision. Once he has the vision, he becomes passionate. Once he's passionate, people around him is very interested, and he then inspires the people. People want to work for passionate leaders. People want to work for other people that is going somewhere in life. So if you look at your employees at this stage, if you look around at your employee base and they are not passionate about what they do, and you're struggling with them, and they're not on time, and they're closing the laptop 4 o'clock, no matter if they finish or not with their work. If you're struggling with that problem, ask yourself the question, have you given your employees something to strive towards? Have you given him the vision of the business? Because if you give people a vision to where you are going, then they can actually decide, I'm going to buy into the vision, I'm going to work hard, I want to accomplish and help the leader to achieve the vision, or they can then decide, I don't want any part in this vision, and then you know it's not a good employee, you should get rid of the employee. All right, but people pursue vision. People want to pursue vision. All right, so when people see that you are passionate and that you are going somewhere, then you inspire them, and that inspiration is leadership. Excuse me, that inspiration is leadership. All right, so guys, be encouraged. Go write that vision down. Go write that vision down. Tell your employees where you are going, and I'm sure there will be a change in their demeanor. Cool. So now we get into the very practical side of the presentation. How do I start a business? What do I need to do to start a business? So the first step, so your client comes to you and your client says he wants to start a business, but he's not sure where to start. The first thing that you need to talk over with your client is, what is the idea that they're thinking of? Many people get many ideas. And I want to say this, it's not necessarily the idea that keeps people from starting a business. Many people have great ideas on a great business. Many people have spent so much time thinking about this business, they know the business inside out. My biggest suggestion here is that it's not the idea that's stopping you from starting a business. It's not that you think it's going to fail. It's not that you think the idea isn't good enough. But the reason people don't start a business is because of fear. Hands down, because of fear. The fear of the unknown, first of all. What lies behind when I launch my business? What is lying ahead for me? The fear of the unknown, first of all. Secondly, I believe it is the fear of failure. What if I fail? What are people going to think if I fail? What will people do when I fail? What will people say when I fail? And so on and so forth. In that sense, I'm very, very satisfied that my decisions in business is totally nullified by what people say. I literally don't care. I'll fail over and over and over again, and I don't care what people say about me. I've got my group of mentors. Yes, I've got my soundboard people that I go speak to about my ideas. But then after that, anybody else that has a problem, it's literally, I don't even listen to those people. If I sense the conversation is going in a certain direction, I'll just shut it down and say, thank you, I've had enough of this, have a nice day. So I've got my mentor, which I go speak to, and he gives me great insight, and then I'm submissive under that. I've also got some advisors when it comes to business, but other than that, fear of failure will never stop me. The fear of the unknown, it might be scary, yes, I agree, but still, you got to take action. So I believe that's the biggest reason why people don't start a business, is because there's fear for whatever the reason is. But back to my step one, your big idea. First of all, you need to ask yourself the question, what are you gifted and skilled in? That's the first question. What are you gifted in and what are you skilled in? What can you do that nobody else can do? What are you skillful in? Okay, secondly, what are you passionate about? All right, in this case, it's about the industry. Do you like real estate? Do you like accounting? Are you passionate about accounting? Or do you actually want to do consultation for other people because you like people more? Are you passionate about numbers? Are you really passionate about what you are doing? Okay, so answer these two questions. What are you skilled in and what are you passionate in? If you can answer these questions, then you are in a perfect position to build business on your strengths. Okay, it's one thing that my mentor told me over and over and over. He said, what are your strengths? Go and build a business on your strength. Okay, if you're not good in something, it's fine. Get someone else to do that. Focus on your strength. Focus on your passion. And you'll do much more enjoyable business, I believe. All right, so that's step one, finding your big idea. What are you gifted in? What are you passionate about? Secondly, you have to plan. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. We all know that quote. You have to plan sufficiently before you start your business. And I've got a very nice business starter blueprint that I use with my clients when they want to start a business. Excuse me. When they want to start a business, I've got this business starter blueprint, and it covers all the areas of the entrepreneur, which I discussed with you earlier: the dreamer, the thinker, the storyteller, and the leader. All right, so first of all, the dreamer, I would work through these with the people, and then they need to go and answer these questions themselves, because this is not something that I just sit and just write down easily. I literally have to go think about my business. Why am I doing business? What is the bigger idea behind my business? Where am I going with my business? What is the phases I want to achieve in my business? All right, and this you guys can see with what we have over here. So 8.1 is the business dream, and that is basically the idea of my business. What will it mean for humanity? How will it push people forward? How will it improve the industry? How will it solve the problem or the need in my community or in my industry? All right, then what I do is I take this dream and I like to divide it into 5 phases. All right, so 5 dreams over here. You guys can see it. I just want to, back to the, yes, here we go. They don't give me like a highlighter, so I can't highlight now. But anyways, I like to take the dream and divide it into 5 different segments, just to break up that elephant into a few pieces so you don't eat the elephant with one bite. And next, after the guy has completed his dream, I'm going through the strategy. All right, so the first part of the strategy, B.1, is the first part of the vision. Vision consists of your strategy and it consists of your business model. All right, this is a very practical business plan. It's not your normal 20 to 40-page business plan. This, as a matter of fact, is an 8-page business plan that covers everything you need to know about what this guy wants to do with his business. Okay, so the strategy for is so the way I use this with my clients. I take normally dream number one and dream number two, and I would encourage you guys and say, if you don't achieve dream number one, you'll never be able to go to dream number two, and then three, four, five, and so on and so forth. So first of all, take dream number one, and let's focus to accomplish dream number one in these 5 phases. Okay, so phase one is the planning phase, phase two is laying the foundation, phase three is a test launch, phase four is a full launch, and phase five is growing the business. Okay, and you guys will be surprised, and I see this with specifically engineers. People become very creative and they create these insane software or these insane applications. And once they take it to the market, people's like, we don't want this, we never wanted it, and they never sell one product. But they spend 2 years and almost R1 million on the designing phase of this project, but they never went to the market to ask the market, what do you actually need? Let's create what you need. They just assumed, well, we think the market needs this, and it sounds very fancy, and they get very excited about designing stuff. So then they design it, and it was actually a waste of time and a waste of a lot of money. Okay, so first of all, you got a plan. Step one. Secondly, you got to lay the foundation. So after you've made your plans, you've went and you tested out the desirability. Desirability is, does the target market want what I'm offering them? Secondly, you test out the feasibility. Will I be able to deliver on this project? Yes or no? And thirdly, you got a plan on the viability. Will this business make money? Yes or no? All right, so it's those 3 things are most important. Desirability, does the market want what I'm offering? Secondly, feasibility, can I deliver what I promised them? And thirdly, viability, will this make money? Yes or no? All right, so that is your first part of your planning. You got to ask those simple questions because you have the idea now. Now I need to understand, will this work? Yes or no? All right, then further on with the planning, you can add whatever you want to add in that planning section as well, what you feel is important before starting the business. Okay, then phase 2 is laying the foundation. Now you got to lay the foundation. So you've done your market research. The target market does want what you're going to offer. You've estimated a certain time frame, a price tag, etc. Now you got to deliver on this service and then take it to the market. So you got to lay the foundation. And laying the foundation will obviously be getting your compliance in place, getting your marketing strategy in place, your branding, your sales strategy, your operational strategy, getting all that in place, which I'm going to get to on my next section. But then get that in place, you're now laying a foundation for the business. And very brief systems, all right, very brief systems. I know a lot of people, a lot of entrepreneurs that's made it successfully say you gotta hustle. Yes, you gotta hustle. I agree with that. But I believe you gotta hustle with order. Don't just go out there with like a chicken without a head. It's gonna be chaos. You've gotta have a certain spec of order when you launch your business. And I mean, the tools are so easily available in today's day. I love the tool Google Sheets. Works like a charm. You can literally keep track and control of every single lead that comes into your business. You can keep the service time frames. You can deliver successfully just by using Google Sheets. Brilliant application. That's just an example for a section like laying the foundation to make sure you don't start your business in total chaos, but that you semi-prepare for what's coming your way. All right, phase number 3, a test launch. So after you've now set a basic foundation in place, And I want you guys to remember this now, basic foundation, because at step number 3, I'm going to explain to you what the basic foundation is. All right, so after the basic foundation is now in place, you need to test launch. So you already tested the market, you already tested that people are now looking for what you are offering. Oh, someone changed my slide. Who was that? All right. Please, anybody presenters out there, don't change my slide. Okay. Sorry about that. So test launch. Now you need to go and test out. So you've never done marketing before, you've never done sales before, but you went to the market, you know they want what you need, you know you've got a good product and a good service over here, but you now got to test it. So you got to set up that first that ad on Facebook or Google, or you got to set up that first flyer, or whatever the case is. You got to make that first sale. You got to test this thing out, and you got to produce the first product. Okay, so after you made your first sale, after you generated your first lead, converted your first lead, and delivered successfully on the first lead's needs, then you know, cool, I can do this now. I've generated one lead, I've made it into a sale, I've delivered on my promises, and here's the beautiful news. If it works for one, it's going to work for many. So there you have your basic system in place. Now you can go and say, I'm going to do a full launch. All right, and you do a full launch. And step number 5 is, after doing the full launch, track it for 3 months, for 6 months, for 12 months, and then decide on growth plans. How am I going to grow this business bigger and bigger? Are you guys still with me? I hope so. Someone can just pop me a yes, we're still with you. Fantastic, that I know that I'm talking some sense on this side of the screen. All right, the second step. So the first step of vision is your strategy. The second step of vision is to go and get in place the market desirability, the market feasibility, and the viability of your idea. Okay, the desirability is all the yellow that you see here on the right top side. First of all, your customer segment, who's your target market? Who's your early adopters? Who's going to make use of the service first of all? Then secondly, what is my value proposition? What makes me different? What makes me different? With all the many business plans that we write for people, we normally get their value proposition is either I've got a good service or I've got a good price. That is it. There's absolutely zero initiative people are using to be different. And the fact of the matter is, if your wife tells you to go and buy sunlight, or to go buy, sorry, not sunlight, if your wife goes and tells you to go buy dishwashing liquid, all right, I'm a man, I'm going to go into Pick and Pay, and I'm going to buy sunlight, as easy as that, because sunlight produces a simplistic solution. Now here comes Jack, and he starts his own dishwashing liquid brand, but his only value proposition is he's going to be cheaper than sunlight. If my wife phones and says, please go buy dishwashing liquid, I don't care what Jack's brand is. I'm going to go in, I'm going to buy sunlight, I'm going to go home. No matter if sunlight costs me 15 Rand or 10 Rand more than Jack's brand. And people don't account for that. They think people always buy because something is cheaper. It's not the case. Unless sunlight does not make a mistake with their product or their service, I'm not going to switch suppliers. I'm not going to switch a supplier because I know sunlight, I trust sunlight. All right, no matter how cheap Jack is. So when it comes to your unique value proposition, be sure to be unique. All right, be sure to be unique. Okay, next, channels. Lead generation, lead conversion, client performance. I already talked about that. Customer relationship. Are you going to be automated with your customer? Are you going to be a personal relationship? Whatever the case is. That's the first thing you need to test, your market desirability. Secondly, you have to test your feasibility. Will I be able to deliver on my promise? So you got to figure out what your key resources is. You got to figure out, this is the on the left top side, the darkish gray. Sorry, this is the feasibility. You got to figure out what your key activities is and what your key partnerships will be to leverage and to make sure that you can deliver this product or the service. And then lastly, the viability, the business cost structures. What is the startup cost? What is the variable costs? And what are the fixed costs per month? As well as my revenue streams. Okay, we don't want 50 different products or services. I believe as a startup business, don't do more than three. Don't do more than three. Keep it plain, keep it simple, keep it easy. All right. Cool. Simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. Then the C section of the business plan is first of all your values. What values will you stand for? And again, we get this all the time. We write many business plans, and the people has the most amazing values. I tell you, I'm like, wow, this guy's ethical. This is absolutely amazing. And yet we're sitting with so much fraud in South Africa. I don't understand, because every single business plan that I do, people are super ethical. I don't understand it. And it begs the question, everybody starts out. I mean, nobody's going to say, you know what, I'm going to be full on corrupt. I'm going to see where I can commit fraud and become as rich as possible. Nobody ever says that. But yet when the bribe comes along, they fall for it. Which just astonishes me. So you get your values out before you start trading. If you have your values before you start trading, you will have your values while you are trading. You will have your values when the bribe comes. You're like, no, thank you. This is not part of my business culture. I'm standing against this. All right. And I think in any ways it's despicable if people fall for bribes, etc. But let me not go into that. All right, and then the standards. What is the standards of my business? Customer excellence, etc. Whatever the standards are. And lastly, empowerment. How will I empower my staff? How will I empower people that comes into contact with my business? And the last section of the business plan for me is the mission statement. What is your business on a mission to do and to change in the world? All right, and then lastly, step number 3, you've got to launch. Okay, as I said earlier, there's a thing that keeps people from starting a business, and it's not a lack of preparedness. It's not that they haven't thought about their idea. It's not that they're not passionate. It's, I believe, fear of the unknown, fear of failure, could be a lack of confidence as well. And here's the thing, if you go read that book from Phil Knight, who started Nike, the guy was super insecure, he was super shy, and for 8 or 9 years he wasn't sure if the business was even going to make it. All right, but he never stopped trying, he never quit, he never gave up, he always made a plan. All right, so guys, I want to encourage you, take action on your dreams. You got to launch, you got to do something. All right, and the right foundation, if you're looking out of a perspective of laying a foundation for your business, once you now have seen that your idea is going to work, the product and the service, people want it, then you got to lay the right foundation, which is to get your compliance into place. For the normal compliance, I suggest that if you're going to start a business, you get your company registered, your company registered CIPC. I suggest that you get your share certificate in place to have a track record of the shareholding from the start. You get your business bank account in place, and then lastly, make sure that you don't have to do any other industry regulator compliance. Like for instance, a security company needs to go to CIRA and so on. All right, so first step, get your compliance in place. The most basic compliance, PTY company, a share certificate, and a bank account. All right, next, do your branding. So now your company is registered, you've got your company name. Now you can go and create a brand. A brand consists of a logo and a tagline. Okay, just use the example that you guys see here next to the explanation bullet points over here. We've got the E of Entrepreneurship School, we've got the logo, we've got the name of the company, and the tagline underneath. So that is what a brand consists of: the logo, the name, the tagline. All right, as simplistic as possible. Cool. That what goes with branding is to get traditional branding in place. I still believe there's a place and a space for traditional branding, which is your business cards and your flyers should you attend events, and also get your website in place. Get someone to help you with the website. If you can't build a proper website yourself, get someone to help you with a proper website. We live in a digital age and people judge your business according to your website. I guarantee you, if I chat to somebody, they give me a business card, I'm on my laptop afterwards, I'm checking out his brand and I check out his website, I check out his Facebook page, I check out his LinkedIn, those three things. And then I make a judgment call according to that. So yes, I judge the book by its cover. That's not nice. It's natural. Mostly do that. All right. So branding, get a website in place after you've got your logo, your tagline, and your company name. Get a solid Facebook page in place. Make sure that you're nicely active with your people that follow you on Facebook. Get your LinkedIn in place, especially accountants. LinkedIn is a good professional platform for you to network with other people. Get a proper LinkedIn profile in place. All right. Then after you've got your branding, now you can do your first marketing campaign. So you can go onto Facebook. Facebook is very cheap. That's how I started with my advertising. I went onto Facebook. I got a few leads, and you can now do digital advertising. You can do Google advertising. You can do LinkedIn advertising. There's so many good platforms out there for you to do advertising on. You can even create a platform, an event, get some guest speakers to speak, and your business sponsors this. So your brand is everywhere, and that is marketing. That's advertising. Hand out flyers, hand out business cards, etc. All right, get a proper sales system in place. Don't just wing it. Don't just wing it. Those people that's so amazing in sales from Hollywood doesn't exist. Okay, these Matthew McConaughey figures on the phone that just dazzles and wazzles people and a payment comes into the bank account, that doesn't exist. We got to get that out of our minds. Very few people like sales. If you start your own business, you ain't got no choice. You got to be a salesman. You got to tell your story to people. All right, so get a proper sales pitch in place. When you get a sales pitch in place, remember, people want to know what does your product cost, how long will it take, what is the process and the requirements of delivering the product. That's what people want to know. The cost, the time frame, the process, and the requirements. Okay. If you walk into a store, you see something that you want, you've got three questions. How much does it cost? What's the process? How long will it take? Okay, cool. Then operation system, make sure you can track the whole procedure until the service is delivered with order and control. It's easy when you start out because you've got one or two clients. So you know exactly what's going on. The difficult thing comes in suddenly overnight, you've got 50 clients and you have no operational system to keep track of them. So you've got 50 clients and it's impossible to keep track of 50 clients in your mind. Okay, so be prepared beforehand. And then lastly, I believe very strongly, especially in South Africa, we need to start building proper business cultures that stands for something and not for corruption. All right, guys, there you have it. That's how you lay a foundation. After you test it, that the market wants your product, after you test it that you can deliver on the product, after you test it that the business will make money. This is the right foundation to get in place. Then you take action, launch. The time will never be right, I promise you. I can guarantee you nothing big started big, and you rarely end up with what you start out with. So you might start with one thing on this side, and the idea leads you, and you end up with something else somewhere else. But the timing will never be right to start a business. You got to start where you are. You got to do what you can, and you have to use what you have. Okay, I'm going to say it again. You got to start where you are. You got to do what you can. You got to use what you have. And don't be afraid to fail. We all fail. All right, I felt many, many, many times. Cool. So, guys, this is my contact details. If you want to make contact with our office, if you want to see more of our services, our website is entrepreneurshipschool.co.za. There's my email address. Pop me an email if you want the slides. I will be more than happy to send you the slides afterwards. And I really enjoyed presenting this webinar. I hope it was insightful for you, and I hope that you learned something new today. Cool. So until next time.